All right, so we're a little less than a week from when we had midterm elections, and we'll talk about what the future is of the GOP with State Representative Dan Caulkins, but I also wanted to touch base with him about what to expect with fall veto session coming up starting tomorrow here in Springfield, with lawmakers heading back to Springfield. Representative Dan Caulkins with us on WMAY. I'm Greg Bishop, Springfield's Morning News. Representative, what do you anticipate happening with fall veto session? Good morning.
Good morning, Greg. Thanks. I have no idea.
I don't have my my censor button ready, so I'm glad you self-censored there.
I did. We have 6 days veto scheduled, to typical, traditional. They've already canceled one day this week. We're not coming in Thursday. We're coming in Tuesday afternoon, probably for an hour. So that leaves the day of Wednesday, and then after Thanksgiving, 3 days. We have the Safety Act that we absolutely have to address before January 1st. There's been no mention. I've gotten nothing from the Democratic leadership or the Republican leadership about what to expect. This is it's very disappointing, but I guess it's what we're going to have to deal with.
So not really sure what kind of modifications or even clarifications that the governor has said are needed for the Safety Act. You feel like you're kind of in the dark on what to expect for veto session?
Yes. I mean, I think the Republican leadership's in the dark. I don't know what the Democrats are doing. We've been told there are people getting together talking about this and that, but there's been no legislation that I know of that's come out of those talks. Several bills have been filed, 6 or 4 of them or 5 of them by Republicans, offering suggestions from repealing it to fixing it. Senator Bennett's filed a bill to fix it that the Democrats poo-pooed immediately. So I don't know what they want to do. They have the power to do anything they want to do. Again, it just doesn't seem like they're very well organized.
Yeah, and January 1st is when one of the major provisions of the Safety Act, the Pretrial Fairness Act, takes effect. And you guys do have what's considered lame duck session in early January before the end of this General Assembly, but that'd be after the January 1st deadline. So we'll see what happens ultimately with all of this moving forward, and let alone you've got the consolidated case of states' attorneys and sheriffs suing the state to block this, and that's expected to be heard, I believe, the 22nd of this month in I forget which county, but
it's in Sangamon. They consolidated everything. No, didn't they take it up to Kankakee?
I was going to say I thought it was Kankakee. So you've got all those. You've got all those lawsuits that were consolidated. So we'll see what happens with all of that. But State Representative Dan Caulkins, go ahead.
That state's attorney is a Democrat, by the way.
Yeah, bipartisan opposition to this when it comes from the law enforcement community. So again, we'll watch that space closely. Representative, something else I wanted to bring up with you. You had put out a statement last week pushing back against a notion that with House Minority Leader Jim Durkin announcing that he's not going to be seeking the leadership position for House Minority Republicans. Some names have been floated, including State Representative Tony McCombie as possibly the next leader of the Illinois House Republican caucus. What's going on here for Republicans, and what's the future look like?
Well, I'm not sure. And my hope was that we would get together Tuesday evening at 5 o'clock and have a very thoughtful, thorough discussion, and anybody that wanted to run for leader would have an opportunity to stand up and make their case to why they should be a leader. That was agreed to by a couple of people that are supporting Tony. I'm very disappointed that we're getting kind of a bum's rush here from some folks, but we'll see what happens Tuesday, and hopefully we come out of there. We will come out of there with a new leader. Hopefully there'll be some coming together and working things out as there always have been. But I'm really kind of disappointed that this has become a public spectacle. And, it's something that I thought we should try to avoid, but it is what it is.
Who do you want to see lead the Republican House caucus?
Well, I have not pledged my support to anyone. I have, we have a couple of people, maybe three people whose names have been floated out there. Tony being one, Tim Ozinga being another, Marty McLaughlin being a third. There may be others. I don't know if Representative Tom Bennett had kind of said he'd do it if he was asked. There may be, I don't know. But that was the purpose of my press release. There are people that are very well qualified within our caucus, and I think if they are interested, they ought to be allowed an opportunity to be heard before we rush into anointing someone without going through a fair and open process.
State Representative Dan Caulkins with us on WMAY in just a few more moments here before we head to news. Talk about the future of the Republican Party in the state of Illinois. We, of course, saw the elections Tuesday, clean sweep for all of the constitutional statewide offices, and it looks like Democrats are now in a super majority in the Illinois House, having Republicans lose seats. What happened? What do Republicans need to do moving forward?
Well, Illinois, as we know, is a blue state. But think about this for a second. J.B. Pritzker spent $154 million to get about 54% of the vote. I'm sorry, if you spent $154 million in a blue state, I would think you're going to get at least 60 to 65% of the vote. There's a large part of this population that are not happy with the direction this state is going in. If the Republican Party, we should be introspective and look and see what happened. But I think there's lots of things to do. I'm not a big fan of becoming Democrat light. I think the people of Illinois need a choice. There's clearly parts of this state, large parts geographically of this state, who are conservatives. And I don't think by any means that's a radical or a position or they believe in a strong government. They believe in law and order. They believe in good schools. They believe in lower taxes. I don't know. I mean, what's going to happen? I presume Governor Pritzker is going to run for president now, and we'll see what happens in 2 years. We've got 2 years to figure this out and get busy. We had good candidates. I just think that we need to get better organized and offer the people of Illinois a choice. And I don't know, maybe things just haven't gotten bad enough yet that enough people haven't figured it out.
What about the ground game? Democrats seem to have a pretty, solid plan of early votes and mail-in balloting. Is that something that Republicans need to fine-tune? I know that some Republicans don't like the idea of expanded mail-in balloting, but it's the law of the land in Illinois. Shouldn't you guys use it? Well,
that is a problem. We know that the majority of people, not just in this state but in this country, favor more secure elections. The mail-in balloting has to be more secure. But here's what's happened, Greg. Republicans focus on get out the vote. We believe that people should go to the polls and vote. If you can't get there, fine, mail a ballot in. But this is what we focus on. Unfortunately for us, the Democrats, with their large body of workers, labor unions particularly, focus on ballots. And there's a difference. They're out soliciting ballots. They're collecting ballots. They're going to large concentrations of people, be it apartments, nursing homes, whatever, and soliciting ballots. We've got to figure out how to do that with our volunteers. We need to do a better job of it if we're going to compete in this state. And that you are spot on.
State Representative Dan Caulkins, greatly appreciate your time this morning. I imagine we'll see you at the Capitol sometime this week, and we'll likely talk again in the near future, all right?
Yep, it'll be fleeting on Tuesday for sure.
Yeah.
Won't be there Thursday.
We'll see what happens. Appreciate that. It is Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's news and